20th December 2011 was the official launch of my favorite MMO. So much has happened before and after it, I want to share some of the many memories I keep. SWTOR at 4. Happy birthday to the best MMO I've ever played. Yeah, not the flawless one, not the most popular one, but it is my Star Wars MMO game. My love for Star Wars played a huge part in turning this game into my favorite one. I'm not blind, I have been playing it for over 4 years and waiting for it for almost another 3. I know every little bug and issue the game has ever had, still it is even today my favorite one. In this rather long video I will share some old memories, having the honor of being around since 22nd of October 2008 when the official website first launched and we received confirmation about the new Star Wars MMO being under development. The story may be longer than I and we expect, so sit back and enjoy the time travel. Even worse, the first part may seem uninteresting to those of you who don't follow my SWTOR activities for long enough and or don't care to learn how I came to love the game so much and why. Also, make a note that I will be reading this from my script and from the article that I've already published. Another note, if you don't understand very well my accent or if you have never watched a video of mine before, yes, my accent may be shocking to you, so take a look at the article, the link is right here on top of the video. Shall we begin? Star Wars Galaxy, the epic Star Wars adventure. Star Wars Galaxies was released in 2003. I remember reading about an online RPG game being developed by Sony back in 2000 or was it 2001? Not sure anymore. In a paper magazine. Yeah, that's right. I'm an old enough person to remember the PC gaming magazines in their paper format. So, SWG launched in 2003, but not here. Bulgarian players were forgotten and nobody remembered or wanted to import the game into our local video game stores. It's not that the discs were locked or something by region, just in 2003 I was still kind of a young adult or a teenager if you wish, about 19 years old, and I was still in school, didn't have my own income to rely on, and most of all, online purchase was way into the future for us poor Bulgarians. In the summer of 2005, I finally had a chance to touch the unique and one-of-a-kind game that allowed me to jump into Star Wars universe and create an adventure of my own. A big letdown was the fact that the engine was so crappy, old, buggy and non-functional that the game was running capped at 30 frames per second and very rarely even reaching that number. The epic PvP battles we had at Restus, a spaceport and city on the planet Rory, prepared me very well for Star Wars The Old Republic's Ilum disaster later in 2011-2012. In Star Wars Galaxies, PvP was massive, entertaining and impossible. Often we had fights between 30 versus 30 players or so, and all of it was happening with 1 to 5 FPS, with the server side ability delay between 5 and 25 seconds, sometimes even bigger. Yeah, sounds like I exaggerate. I'm actually not. If you're one of those few crazy players who stood against the issues and found a way to enjoy this slugfest, you will keep that memory for many years ahead, just like I do. Actually, it was Star Wars Galaxies and its crappy engine that prepared me, as I've mentioned, and taught me very well how to endure, embrace and survive lag in a game as long as it's my game, my Star Wars adventure. I played SWG for over 4 years with one break in 2007. For a few months I went to Midworld and lived the life of an elven champion. My subscription to Star Wars Galaxies ended in late 2009 and I never renewed it. I'll keep only the good memories of the fantastic community and those truly epic open world PvP battles. This is the game that taught me to love PvP and turned me from just a gamer into a competitive PvP player. LOTRO, a big step up as an MMO. The game was released in spring 2007, I believe, haven't checked that actually. I purchased it in the summer of the same year and left Star Wars Galaxies for a few months to enjoy the gorgeous world of Talking. I'm a huge fan of Talking, have I told you? With some good friends from Star Wars Galaxies Guild. After a while, I realized that my Star Wars addiction is way too strong, and despite the issues Star Wars Galaxies had after its NGE or New Game Enhancement or New Game Environment patch, more on that in another article, video, or at least some other time perhaps. I came back to SWG, rejoined my old friends in Old Republic Alliance or Aura, the guild I started SWTOR with. I cleared the few endgame content challenges I had missed while I was gone. At the time, the guild was the best in the world, having cleared the latest instance first and long before the second one managed to do it. Second guild, that is. Went back to Lotro around the summer of 2009. The first big expansion was just released, that's Mines of Moria, and we know that the best time to start a new game or return to one you had played before is right before or right after an expansion. Switch servers, and this was the birth of my champion Selborn, the elf who made me well known around the Snowborn server community as the solo roamer. I had the reputation of being one of the few champion PvP players who not only saw a roam around the big Ettenmoors map, the open world PvP area in Lotro, but also had the knowledge and skills to kill multiple enemies alone. I really spent a lot of time learning my class, the zone, the enemy classes, monsters, and at some point I ended up with the great honor of being called best champion on the server by some. I loved being ganked by packs of wargs because, the stealth class mentality is the same in open world PvP games everywhere. Stuck into a group and nuke the solo roamers. So I played Lotro until the late 2010 and with 3 or 4 years of experience retired completely and ended my subscription in the first months of 2011. The developers closed the European located servers and moved the player base on the North American ones, where I started experiencing huge lag. On top of that, they also boosted my favorite class to the point where it was becoming boringly easy to kill multiple enemies solo without even breaking a sweat. Here we come to the fun part. SWTOR, my dream came true, or almost. 2000 and the website launch. I still remember that late night of 21st to 22nd October 2008. The official news was fact. The upcoming new Star Wars MMO was already officially confirmed. We were waiting for the website to launch so we can be among the first to register. When the launch was a fact, it took me over 2 hours of constant F5 spamming to be able to finally open and load the page so I can register my account on the website and on the forums. 2008 to 2011, the endless wait. Not having a clue when the game will be ready and released, we waited for over 2.5 years before we got the target and later also the exact date for the launch. Meanwhile, epic podcasts started appearing. I was a big fan of Darth Hater, who unfortunately started very enthusiastic in, I believe, early 2009 or maybe 2010, not sure. But not 6 months after release, they all stopped playing and ended the show. The SWTOR.com website was publishing comic strips almost each week. Friday was designated day for game-related updates and news. Some of you may even remember the most epic article ever published on this website, the 2010 version of April 1st joke. It was about the Sarlacc being a playable race in the game. 2011, the wait is over. At some point in the summer of 2011, BioWare announced the pre-order option. Of course, no such option was available locally here in Bulgaria. I ordered my collector's edition from Amazon.com and paid almost double of its original price to have it delivered to the UK where my brother lives, so he can tell me the code as soon as it arrives. And from there, it would be eventually delivered to me a few weeks later. When it became known that the developers are planning a release in the late December, we were all worried about the delivery status. Who the hell is crazy enough to schedule such a big game release around the holidays? How would all the 2 million and over 2 million pre-orders be delivered on time with the extra pressure from the Christmas shopping and such? Well, BioWare launched early access on the 13th of December 2011 and I was there. I barely made it because the box arrived on the 22nd of December at the UK's address of my brother and he was able to tell me the code so I don't have to miss out of the gameplay. BioWare granted us a few extra days, again because of the delays with the deliveries. We were automatically sent to the servers in groups according to BioWare's program of allowing players to pick their friends and friendly guilds via the website and thus be placed together on the same server. That's how our Aura ended up on Frostclaw server together with a whole bunch of other old and well-known Star Wars Galaxies guilds. The launch on its own was smooth, well, kind of. Nobody expected it to be perfect with no issues. BioWare made the mistake to release a huge amount of servers. The reason being that, at least that's what they stated, is that they didn't have back then the technology ready to make big or even so-called mega servers. We ended up with, I don't remember anymore, but I think over 50, 60 servers in total for both regions. Actually, we had a third region. I forgot that there used to be 3 or 4 Australian servers a little bit after launch. The waiting lines were as fun as Zoe expected them to be, especially after the official launch. During early access, it was almost normal. 2 hours of waiting in a queue was accepted with a smile by all of us. After 28th, when the game officially launched, the terror and horror began. For over a week, the queues were more than 3-4 hours long. Granted, they were shorter on some servers and longer on others. Despite BioWare's desperate attempt, they could not gain total control on the server's population and new players were joining their friends on the servers they wanted, not the ones recommended by the game. Duh. In the very early January of 2012, BioWare surprised everybody with a lightning-fast first big update to the game. Patch 1.1 landed and together with it, we got access to a brand new flashpoint, Kaon Under Siege. What the hell? Come on people, 95% of us were still in their mid-levels of the first characters we were playing. We were shocked and a little confused with this. Is BioWare really planning to release updates with that speed? Now we know the answer. Back then it was a huge surprise and made many of us worry if we will even be able to play the content and be able to finish it before they release the next one. Since I was planning to go on like this for quite some time, I have decided it's a good idea to cut here and continue with part 2. Don't miss out the part 2 because you have a chance to hear, read or understand what I think about the 2012, the dark age of SWTOR. 2013, waking up and free to play. 2014, endgame struggles. 2015, more of the same. These are my bullet points and I'm really eager to start writing the script, the article and then produce the video for the second part. I hope you have enjoyed this first one. Thank you very much for watching, listening and eventually visiting the website to read it. Don't forget the thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Well, if it was terrible and I didn't even manage to read properly my own script, well, give me a thumbs down. Have a lovely Christmas guys, because this video is recorded on the 21st of December, one day after the official birthday of the game. Have a lovely Christmas, have a great Happy New Year celebration, and don't forget that I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna keep producing Star Wars The Old Republic's video for my own enjoyment, to be able to help you and entertain you. See you next time, bye bye.